Yeah, I don't really have that much to say, to be honest, but 5.5 weeks until race day.
How are you currently feeling?
Current feels about Kona this week. Feels like a very long way. No, as in like an Ironman. At my current level of fitness, run fitness, an Ironman feels like a very long way. Yeah, I think like I've taken a lot of confidence from the race at the weekend in terms of calves being in a good place to do a good run block. Actually didn't feel as run unfit as I thought I might. However, still felt a very long way away from a marathon, like good marathon fitness. But I guess I've also got the confidence that I've had Ironmans before where I've done very limited running. Not for as long. I guess my slight nervousness going into this Kona is it's been like basically since May that I've done proper running, which like that's probably longer than I've had before. But I've also done quite a lot of biking, so I'm hoping that it kind of equals out. Although again, my back legs seem to disappear at the weekend, so hopefully they come back. But yeah, no, I think excited to be able to kind of go and do a proper block with the confidence that I now think I'm out of like the most risky injury bit, touch wood. So I feel like I can now just go and train as if I was training sort of normally, which is nice. And yeah, like 5.5 weeks is still quite a long time to actually, you know, build really good fitness, get some good sessions in, get to a point of feeling much better. And I think there's something about training in the heat, maybe not right at the time of the training, but like afterwards that you feel fitter a bit more quickly. Obviously initially you feel terrible and the initial sessions you're like, oh god, how am I going to race in this? But hopefully there'll be like a week of sort of adjusting to the heat and then basically a good 2 to 3 weeks of actual training and getting some good sessions in and then be ready for race day. The race at the weekend, like really good decision to do it, really good to get the kind of race rust out of the way, practice things a bit. I think I've got a big focus on getting that front end speed for the swim. Like I'm still don't have that initial like get out speed to be with that main group. It's something that I suffered with a bit last year in Kona. And I think I then had to work way too hard to get back onto the group, and then I basically spent all my matches in the swim, which is why I got binned at the turnaround buoy. So yeah, trying to work on that front end speed, but then also being able to hold like decent speed. I think that's going to be quite key for me to actually be with the group I want to be with. Because I think also the race this year, yeah, I mean, I just think if I can't, like it's Kona, lots of things happen, but I think looking at where everyone's swim, bike, run seems to have progressed again this year, I think unless I can be with that main group, my best race is over. Like I could probably still scrape a top 10 maybe, but I feel like if I get myself into the kind of shape I think I can get into, I could be aiming for a top 5 again, maybe, with a few things going my way. But if I don't get into that sort of main swim group, then I think that's not unachievable, but a lot harder. So yeah, front end speed of the swim, key focus. Bike-wise, yeah, again, difficult to know whether the weekend was a reflection of how I raced, where my legs are at, or if it was just one of those kind of days where the legs weren't great. Like my heart rate was really high, so there may have been something going on a little bit. But yeah, I think I'll probably be focusing on kind of longer rides with back end intensity, because I think again, that's where, like previously in Ironmans, it has been that kind of middle chunk where I find it quite hard to sort of keep the focus and keep the power coming out. Probably a bit of that. And then run wise, it's just about kind of getting volume in, really, like volume and a bit of tempo, because obviously I've just, the last 3-4 weeks of getting back to running has been very conservative. Well, it's been a bit risky, but like I've not really done any tempo, I've not done any fast running, I've not done any super long running. So I've basically got, 4 or 5 weeks of trying to get a fair bit of running in so I can actually get through a marathon. Am I changing anything? I think I'm not changing anything massively. I think potentially, I guess like what I'm doing differently to last year is already being out in Kona, but then it's similar in that last year I was in Texas, so similar like heat training block, but I guess I'm getting the travel out of the way immediately. So I'm kind of over the travel, can then just try and adjust to the heat. I'm not racing as close to Kona as I did last year because I did Dallas. So I guess I can just do that whole block. Although again, we didn't really taper for Dallas, but it was still a race and a bit of travel. But yeah, I don't think I'll be doing anything massively different. I think like my main thing is almost getting back to like normal training for it in terms of adding the run back in. Like the nice thing is this week that actually my swim has still been quite good. The couple of swims I've done, which usually when I start adding in running or I'm a bit fatigue, which I thought would be the case from the weekend, my swim goes like completely out the window. But I've actually had 2 quite good swims this week. So I'm hoping that's a good sign of the swim's kind of there. I just need to polish up that top end of it. But yeah, I guess the other difference is I've got the opportunity to do a lot more open water swimming because of being out in Kona so early. And I've got Indy to do that with, so that'll be a good practice in terms of holding on to speedy feet. But yeah, nothing massively differently. Like I think, Indy has selflessly sacrificed herself to come and be my training buddy, which I guess I've not really had before. I guess last year I sort of took the plunge of I'm basically just going to do cats training, which I think was pretty good. Obviously I didn't show it on race day, but I'm still kind of putting that down to just a bit of a freak, weird day of not feeling great. But yeah, there's something different about, I guess, the focus being more on me and Indy being there to help me. So yeah, we'll see if that feels that different. But I don't think it will, because I guess like training's training at the end of the day. You're still going out and swim, bike, running. Definitely makes it easier. And I guess it means for things like the long run, Indy will be able to help with like water, that like the stuff that actually in Kona is really important because it's so hot. So. I don't think I'm changing anything with the calves now. Like I feel like they're at a good point where I can actually run relatively normally. I am getting a lever. There's a new lever system coming out that they're shipping to me. So I will have a lever to run on out in Kona, which again, I'm going to be using more for just a bit of volume. So I can get volume in without extra risk. Like not crazy volume, just like enough volume. Yeah, 200 Ks a week, I thought. No, I think like the one thing I might do, and again, like part of this is slightly dependent on how everything feels, is I might do a few more double runs rather than just super long runs. Like often in an Ironman build, I do maybe 3 or 4 sort of 2 to 2.5 hour runs, which that's probably the one thing that's still a bit risky maybe. So we might split that, but yeah, we'll kind of not had the big chat yet with Will of what does my plan actually look like. So, and I think we'll play it a bit by ear, because like if I get through a couple of like an hour 45 run and that kind of feels fine, probably all right to do something a bit longer, especially if it's steady. But then it's also getting the balance of, is it actually better splitting the running and getting a bit of tempo in there? Because again, like I probably need to, Like ideally I'd be a point of doing like long runs that also have tempo in, but I also need to not ramp everything up too much. So yeah, there's maybe a little bit of difference in terms of some of the running, but nothing majorly different. No, so that's old. Don't drink it. It's been there like 3 days, and the cats have been sticking their head in it. So yeah, don't drink it. So that would have been nice of me, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what I first thought. I was like, wow, how thoughtful.
You're getting hospitality? No, don't be silly. You don't get that from me.
Right. How you doing? What